My wife is a pet hoarder. She got CPS called on us because of it. I'm gonna go on a limb and say OP, who is the husband, not the a-hole.
I am going to say that OP is the a-hole, and this is hard mode, and I have to defend OP.
It's 6 a.m. and the roosters have been crowing nonstop for the last 2 hours in our sunroom adjacent to our bedroom. I'm now sitting in the basement as flies swarm around me, and I've given up swatting them because there's too many to bother. By the way, this comes from user NotAnimalPerson on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the basement is the area of the house with the least amount of flies. On top of the rooster noise is the cackle of male quail that reside in our living room. They live in the base of 3 cages that are filled with budgies and cockatiel. And budgies, that's Australian for parrot or parakeets. When I wake up, I remember to put on my slippers and I hope I get to them before stepping in dog urine or fresh dog crap. Our carpet in our master bedroom is saturated with dog urine with many spots that haven't dried out yet. Yesterday, my wife bought our daughter a new tortoise and a frog. The tortoise will be added to the aquarium with our bearded dragon. The bearded dragon, which is often free to roam the house because my wife feels like it will be happier. It is free to poop on our furniture or floor or where it was left last. As I sit here in my basement, the one place where I do not allow any pets, I'm listening to a rabbit thumping its paws on the floor above me, or it's the sound of it biting and ripping apart our wall or furniture. I'm not sure which noise it is, but I really don't care anymore. We have at least 6 rabbits. Their little claws make a loud scraping and tapping noise as they scurry and hop across our laminate floors. The main level of our home is littered in rabbit droppings. The droppings get pushed to the side as our 4 children and us inadvertently kick them around while walking through the main level of our home. The dogs won't likely get let out this morning to go to the bathroom. The smaller dog doesn't even obey the command to go out anymore. He just stares at you confused by your directive. If he does go outside, he just comes back in to find a place to crap and pee in one of our bedrooms. Our backyard doesn't have much dog crap because it's mostly in our bedrooms. It will stay there for days on end because there's no expectation that it shouldn't be there. The new smell from the giant rug I bought for the basement has worn off. It smelled like glue and dye, and it drowned out the odors from the dozen chicken that reside in our family and living room. They live in a couple 36-inch fabric pop-up enclosures filled with pine shavings. It is saturated with chicken crap and urine and has soaked into our oak hardwood floors, permanently damaging them. The stench is eye-watering. We have a lot of feathered friends here. In our master bedroom, there are 3 more cages with a variety of exotic birds that sing loudly all day long and leave a permanent mess of seeds on the floor around the cages. They are free to roam, and so our room has droppings along our bed's headboard, on our pillows, along the sides of the doors where they perch, in our bathroom mirrors, and down our shower curtains. Our sunroom has 30-plus chickens, and about 8 or 10 of them are roosters, and the roosters crow all day. This is where the flies breed. They come in through the 40-year-old sliding door that is often left open. This door separates the sunroom from our living area and our kitchen. The flies swarm in at any given time. There are dozens of flies in our living space. The heat and humidity bake the sunroom floor, which is covered in chicken crap and urine, and the odor spreads through the house. Do you have anything to say, Riley?
He's just not cleaning. Like, yeah, there are a lot of animals, but you need to take initiative.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Our house is in a suburban neighborhood. We do not live on a farm. In addition to these animals, we have 2 pet rats. They are sweet, but as you would expect, their cage is not well maintained and it stinks 90% of the time. Our boys' room has a snake and axolotl aquarium. One of our daughters has an algae-covered fish aquarium that we fill with water whenever we hear the filter screech because the water has evaporated too low. She also has an unkept cage with a hamster that is rarely played with. This is really hard to be on hard mode right now for this story, guys.
You picked your side. You won.
We have to pick this side. Right now, I'm listening to the mice eat through the foam board insulation in my basement. I want to get rid of them, but it's challenging with all the access to feed throughout the house. They seem to be breeding and entering through the home and at a faster pace than they can be exterminated.
Like
so 2 rats are now an unknown number of rats. And again, OP is just busy with work. I am not a pet person, and this life is driving me nuts. My wife is a pet hoarder and has ADHD. Our backyard is a ghost town full of quail cages from last year when she was really into quail breeding, and we had over 150 living in our backyard. Now there remains broken and half-built cages and find mounds of shavings and wood chips that she intended to use as bedding. Scattered in random places in our backyard are household garbage bags of chicken crap. When you try to lift them, they fall apart because they weigh 30 to 40 pounds and the bags have deteriorated from the sun. When challenged, she seems to delight in the frustration it causes me because she is not happy in our marriage. It seems that accumulating animals is bringing her little bits of dopamine with each acquisition. I'm tired of living like this and I don't know what to do. Our children think this behavior is acceptable and they often chide at me for not being on board with the animals. They say I'm not a pet person. It's true that I'm actually not a pet person. But what we have going on here is irresponsible, unsanitary, and illegal. This is pet cruelty and normalizing neglect of animals. And we have an edit. And yeah, everything OP just said right there is 100% accurate.
Yep, you are neglecting animals.
No! His wife keeps confiscating animals from the world and neglects them. People think this is a fake post, but it's real. I'm not uploading pics for privacy, but it's genuine. Yeah. I wrote it in this style just to express everything because it's distressing and aggravating, and I haven't expressed it to anyone. See, OP is just an artist. OP is expressing himself via prose.
Yeah.
Which, do you even know what prose is?
Go ahead.
That's what I thought.
Go ahead, explain it.
No,
I know what it is. I just want to see what your point of
Sometimes
view
we have
is.
to teach ourselves things, Riley.
Go ahead. Explain
Sometimes we have to teach ourselves what things are.
Stop making me laugh.
I am seriously here asking for advice. It slipped out of my control. The amount of pushback from my wife when I address the problems create a lot of tension and distress the children. Yeah, Riley, think of the children, which you're not doing. She just keeps bringing home animals. The last time I threatened to rehome the chickens that she was keeping in the house, she became extremely angry and combative. She rehomed them, but not after a slew of insults and claiming I was being totally unreasonable. Then she just slips back into the same behaviors because she never believed it was a problem in the first place. We've had company come over to our house, but no one has called CPS or animal control yet. Seeing all these reactions has me realizing just how bad it is from an outside perspective, and a CPS call is a serious possibility, and that is terrifying.
Go ahead and call CPS because you're going to shoot yourself in the foot because this is your house that you have let this happen to.
Maybe he's too busy doing secret missions to keep CPS from exploding their family.
He just said he's going to call CPS.
No, he said someone might, and it's very scary,
Oh,
which is why he's constantly working.
Because that's why he's not going to take pictures.
He's constantly working on the low, and OP has done nothing wrong.
And you know it. It's okay.
OP did nothing wrong except he married the wrong woman.
No, OP had a choice to marry someone, and he married her, and he did the wrong thing by not actually giving anything to this relationship.
Well, update number 1. Some of you may remember my post venting and looking for advice on what to do in regards to an extreme animal hoarding situation with my wife. Dozens of chickens residing in the home, and a variety of animals roaming outside of cages in the home, feces, and a rampant mice infestation. After posting, I sought therapy and started getting my bearings straightened out in the midst of setting firm boundaries and beginning the work to clean up literally 2 tons of chicken crap, sand, and pine shavings, and resolving the rodent problem. A call to CPS was made by a third party, and an investigation ensued. Believe it or not, by that time, much of the situation was resolved. Animals rehomed, house cleaned, sanitized. Nothing came of the CPS investigation, and it was quickly closed out because my man is the hardest worker this side of the Milky Way.
He was just trying to save himself.
Bro.
He was just trying to save himself from a fine. That's all it was.
Yeah, he was just trying to save himself.
Look, well, why the heck did he do it all of a
saved
sudden?
his entire family single-handedly. However, the relationship was essentially permanently damaged as my wife continued to deny the problem was out of hand. Deep resentment developed towards each other. Fast forward nearly 12 months and my quitter wife requested a divorce. We are now separated, awaiting an official legal divorce. I have moved into a very nice home and have the kids 50-50
Yeah, I'm shocked too how we got 50 of these goods.
My physical and mental health has dramatically improved. My kids now have an organized and clean, safe haven, and they seem happy. It seems inevitable that she may lose custody of the kids at some point altogether. I'm hoping she can keep things in check, but due to the constant denial that there was a problem, it will most likely repeat. I may have no choice but to take steps to ensure the children's safety at some point, further disrupting the children's lives from their otherwise loving mother. Limitations on pet quantities and cleanliness standards are written into the divorce settlement. By the way, wife has been in therapy for a couple of years in the midst of the hoarding. I guess you could say the therapist was either not savvy to the situation or enabling to an irresponsible level. I'm leaning towards the latter. She became more and more emboldened that I was causing her problems as opposed to looking inward. Her therapist seemed to fuel the delusions as far as I could tell. Anyway, thanks for all your advice and getting me to wake up to the madness I contributed to through inaction. Okay.
Out of everything OPS said, I was about to say two things. One, he has not seen anything that he's done wrong and explained it. He finally did for once in his freaking post.
Sorry, he was inactive. He was just trying to make his wife happy.
The only thing he has talked about with his wife is the divorce.
Not even entertaining that. I'm not even entertaining that. Update number 2. My soon-to-be ex-wife has a bit of an animal obsession, but otherwise is a loving and attentive mother. We share 50-50 custody of 4 children. When we split up last year, I had worked really hard to get the house cleaned up, helped to rehome dozens of animals, and eradicate a mice infestation before moving out. Since then, she has collected dozens of animals again, and the home reeks of animal urine. My oldest child has reported that the mice have returned. There is so much animal feed around the property and inside the home that wild mice have endless food supplies. The dogs are not potty trained, and every caged animal cannot be cleaned regularly enough to keep the odors at bay. When I got the kids for the week, all of their belongings and clothing had the strongest pungent odor of dirt and urine. My home is clean and smells fresh, and the kids' belongings made my whole house stink. 2 of my kids are wearing the same clothes day and night for multiple days at a time. I called CPS based on my attorney's advice, and I feel awful about it.
As you should, you reeking a-hole.
Look at my gentle, perfect OP. Even when he has to make the right call, he loves his wife so much that it torments his beautiful, gentle soul. You're OP. I'm the wife. Try to talk to me about getting rid of the animals.
I would, but he never talks to her. He just does it.
Time to use our imagination.
Have we ever seen him say, I talked to my wife about this? No, we haven't.
We literally did. And you know what happened? Here, I'll just do it since you won't do it because you're a coward. She goes, don't you dare touch Rudy or Julie or Donnie or Timmy or Tommy or Paul or Jenkins because I love every last one of them. And if you touch them, I will light your bed on fire.
Unreliable narrator right here because we're not getting anything from the wife's side and we're just getting what he's saying.
It feels and looks vindictive enough, even though that's not my intent. I feel like garbage and like I'm betraying my kid's mom's trust. I want to co-parent amicably, and I feel like this will take away from that. At the same time, she has a problem that is interfering with raising our children in a safe and sanitary environment. My kids love having all the animals. Granted, they love them, but they don't recognize the amount of time and cost to properly care for them.
Yeah, because you
They
have to
just
work all
like
the time.
the excitement of having a bunch of pets and animals. This is going to also strain my relationship with the kids to a degree. They don't realize that 1, the animals cannot possibly be cared for adequately. 2, that they are going to school stinking to high heaven. And 3, that the home is a health concern for them. 4, they see me as the mean dad that wants to take away all their precious animals, which are a part of the family. Part of me is just scared of my soon-to-be ex-wife, like actually afraid for my safety, LOL. I don't know if she knows yet, and a part of me wants to go over to her house and help her clean up and tell her again to rehome the animals. I know this is not realistic, as it was the primary source of our arguing in our home when we were together. I told her before moving out that I would always expect that her home be sanitary and not overrun by pets again, but that I would be amicable and fair in our divorce process. And now it just feels like I'm being petty in the process of a difficult divorce, even though logically it's not true, but I can't help shake a yucky feeling about calling CPS. Look how sweet he is. even though he knows.
Yeah, because he's going to manipulate the situation so he can have full custody of his kids because he doesn't want to put any effort into this.
OP
at
is
all.
literally Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. You know,
More
sometimes
like Venom.
sometimes you have to call CPS on your wife because she's got a pee-pee poo-poo house. You can't. If you're a good father, you can't let your kids be staying 50-50 in a pee-pee poo-poo house.
He has no regrets about any of this. He's like, this is all her fault. And not like, I should have done more as a husband. I should have done more for the kids. I should have had a freaking backbone instead of letting my wife do whatever she wants. And I should have like poured into my relationship.
Yeah, keep digging. Go ahead.
He neglected their
digging.
relationship
Keep
to this
digging.
point. This is what neglection does.
I continued feeling uneasy all day and a bit panicked that before CPS came, she would be able to conceal, hide, or talk her way out of the situation. I started feeling like I would come out looking worse and the kids would not get a clean home out of the call. CPS talked to all of my kids while at school today. My 3 little ones all reported that they are all fine from what I could tell. I didn't pry or ask for more details of their conversation, but just generally asked if the interview was okay and how they felt about it. They all seemed fine and like it was discreet and no big deal. However, my oldest child's visit from the agent was separate as he goes to middle school. He spilled all the beans and complained heavily about the unsanitary conditions in great detail. I did not tell him, warn him, or coach him in any way whatsoever. In fact, I try not to even complain about the home to them, as there's nothing they can do about it, and it therefore would not be helpful. It would only cause them stress. He detailed that he asked his mom to buy a new $10 shirt, and she told him no, she doesn't have the money. He then told the CPS agent that 2 days later, he saw her come home with tons of new chickens and animal supplies. I'm saddened that he has been living in those conditions. I feel bad that their mom was probably humiliated by that story being retold to her. My son corroborated every complaint. And by the way, you can corroborate with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. And we might even be live right now, so you can go check that out. The only reason I know what he told the agent was that their mom called him tonight and was quizzing him on his interview. I overheard everything he said as I was cleaning the kitchen, and he was right there boldly telling his mom all the things he told the agent. I didn't even know he was interviewed today, as we had a full afternoon of driving to kids' activities and making dinner, rushing to do all the parenting things. Anyway, I am relieved that there was corroboration, and it sounds like this may light a fire under their mom to again make some changes. I feel like this could end up being a regular cycle in the years to come. I hope she hangs in there, finds the courage to recognize there is a legitimate issue, and work to get better. I haven't been reached out to by CPS yet, but I suspect to get a call soon, and I hope they are able to convince her that changes have to be made. And that is the end of that story.
Poll.